Alright guys, part 2 on the Tahoe sell or flip here. So I kind of made a new plan. I decided I'm not going to end up converting this to a passenger vehicle. I'm just going to keep it police looking, but I'm going to paint it all black. And I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit of a few things such as buying new seats. So we're actually about to drive about like 2.5 hours to pick up seats for this thing on the rear side. It was probably the nicest seats I was able to find. And then not only that, I'm probably gonna get some seats, and then I gotta find a center console while I'm in a big city. Because I live in a small town, so there's not really much out here. So let's go ahead and find that. Alright guys, I got some food. I'm about to hit Phoenix to get some rear seats right here. Got some toolboxes. One thing I am noticing is that we are a little bit low in oil. Just slightly low. Not really like below the the markings, but I'm not sure if I should top it off before I hit Phoenix in that adventure, or I should just bring it back home and just change the oil whenever I'm done. I might end up going that route because I don't feel like going all the way up to O'Reilly's right now and topping it off. I put a full tank of gas. Came across a problem when we were filling it up. Actually, two problems. I have a crack on my windshield I gotta fix when I come back as well. And then not only that, when I fill up my tank up to full, the truck stalls out trying to turn it on. And I looked it up. Apparently it's like a purge valve that just is bad, and it gets stuck when you fill it up apparently, because now it stays on once I try to turn it on a little bit. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with that shit. But other than that, I think we're heading up to Phoenix now. I'm gonna see if I can possibly get a center console and rear seats, make it kind of worth my trip. I do need seat belts for the rear side as well. One thing I completely forgot to really think about is that I got no seat belts for the rear. So I gotta definitely figure that out on how I'm gonna get rear seat belts for this truck. But other than that, well, I guess we'll have to look shit up. I already tried looking up for rear seats, but I mean eBay. Maybe I can find some rear seats, seat belts on eBay. But I guess we'll find that out when the time comes. But for right now, let's go to Phoenix, buy some rear seats. Alright guys, confirmed. We got $400 worth of seats here. Truthfully, I don't know how they're gonna fit in there yet, but we're gonna have to figure it out as we install that. Now we gotta get a center console because we're missing a center console here. Other than that, we'll see. I'm gonna text a guy that might have a center console, see if he's willing to sell me just the center console. He's trying to sell a full bundle of the seats and the center console. But if he can sell me just the center console, that's kind of what I want. Alright bosses, we just got ourselves a center console. We got the rear seats. I spent $300 on the center console and then another $500 for the rear, or not $500, $400 for the rear seats. So that's what, $500, $600, $700 total. And then I also got to see how much the gas cost me to be over here up in Phoenix here. So now I gotta drive another hour and a half back home, and then I'll go ahead and calculate how much we spent today on gas and whatever the heck we spent right there. So let's go back home now, and we'll figure out, see what we got here, see if we can install everything nice and easily, or we gotta do a little bit of modifications. Either way, they're gonna go into this truck one way or another. Alright guys, so I wrote down our new prices here. So far we have a 3-day permit, emissions, rear seats, console, 30-day permit, gas for Phoenix drive. I still have not put the insurance, and I still have to buy oil, a filter. I still gotta paint the vehicle, and I still gotta install the seats and see if I have to do any fabrication with material. So what's the $6,000 so far? As long as we can stay underneath $7,000, I will be happy. You know what I mean? 6,500 is really ideal, but I don't think it's gonna be realistic in my case. But I say around $7,000 is really realistic, and if we can sell a vehicle for try for like 12,000, 11,000. Even if I sell for 10,000, we're still 8, 9, 10. So about $3,000 profit. But we're gonna go ahead and keep doing this. Hopefully the next thing I record for you guys is me starting to install everything and buying some oil and whatnot. Alright guys, so now that we have all the seats that we got, now we're able to start installing them. So I think today is the day to install everything. Keep in mind we do got a lot of dirty stuff going on here. Probably my best interest is to clean up a little bit more. And I might start off with the center console because it looks like the center console is going to be the most difficult one because it's at a weird angle almost. So I gotta figure out how that's done there, and then just kind of keep going from there. So let's go ahead and figure out what I gotta do to install the center console right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up a little bit. So let's remove the seats here and get some soap and whatnot, maybe even some electrical tape, because we do got some loose copper wires right there. Should probably cover them up a little bit, or a slight bit at least. Kind of just go from there. So I guess we should start removing these front seats here. I got very limited space, but enough space here they can probably move seats around back and forth right here. But let's go ahead and start removing these front seats here and clean up that middle area, or this front area right here in general. Bring a vacuum and extension cord, and let's make it look somewhat nice here. So we can start installing the center console, and that's gonna end up shaping up a lot of this front area. Without that center console, this looks really ugly right here, and this rips right here. But I don't know yet what I'm gonna do about this yet, because I was noticing how bad some of the areas are. I'm not sure if I should buy some new front covers for the front, but we'll kind of decide later on. For now, let's go ahead and remove these seats here, put them to the side. Kind of just make a little bit of progress here. Whew, it's actually getting kind of hot now. It was pretty simple actually to remove these seats. It was 2 bolts, 2 in the back right here, then the front kind of slips off the clip. And then just remove the seat belt, and then the electrical stuff. I didn't remove the battery. It seemed like it was fine. No airbags blew out on me, but I believe we're good. So we do got some cleanup here. I'm gonna start off by doing a vacuum as much shit we can find. There's actual like maggot shit in here. There's even dirty pens. A lot of nastiness going on here. These cops could not breathe good in here, I'll tell you that. I should probably change out the cabin air filter too later today after seeing this. Alright guys, so I got my cleaning supplies here. I'm about to show you guys the before and after here. So this is the before, and then the after. Alright guys, and here is the after. It's obviously not perfect. What would make this perfect is if I re-stained it with some dressing. But we got a little bit of like dirt stains, maybe stuff that would come out if I kept brushing a little bit more better. But for the most part, I feel comfortable crawling around in here now because there's no more maggots. But yeah, now we can start installing the center console here. So as I'm trying to install these seats, I ended up going to Ace Hardware, buy some bolts. These should be theoretically the most correct bolts I can get, but they're not going in. And I didn't even test fit them. I just kind of started fucking trying to throw them in there. So I'm not sure if maybe I just started doing this by hand wrong or something, or what's going on here. But let's see, did I screw up the threads on this sucker? Yeah. Actually, this is not looking too terrible. I should probably buy another one. Probably be ideal. Or maybe I can just fix this one a little bit. But yeah, there's something wrong with the threads. So I'm gonna go ahead and investigate. Maybe I just need to buy smaller bolts or something. I'm not really sure. It seems like it was going in, but then I don't know. I'm looking at each of these bolt holes, and the threads look like they're already stripped. Look at this one. Look at that. They just look like they're stripped. And I didn't even do anything to this side. I haven't even touched them or anything. So I'm probably gonna have to fix the threads on these this console. Guys, I just bought a new tool here when it counts to the budget of what I'm spending on this truck. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my new bolts that I bought. Hopefully I don't waste them. And I'm going to cut a slit, just 2 slits in it, or maybe 1 slit I think is enough. And I can maybe attempt to install it in there. Maybe that would fix my issue with these, with the holes. But we're gonna see what I do here. Alright guys, so I'm almost done installing the center console. I ended up doing the old school trick of just cutting these like that and just installing it just like that. And I leave it installed. Next person that needs to remove the center console definitely needs to do a tap and die. Where they gotta fucking, cut out the threads out and then create new threads. Or even add a coil if they want to reuse. Alright, yo, so I installed my last bit of last bolts. So this thing is pretty much in there. It ain't going anywhere. Yeah, this thing isn't going anywhere. It's pretty much in there. So we officially installed the center console. was kind of a bitch, but we finally got ourselves an interior in the front right here. Finally, a complete one at least. I guess it's time for the rear. The rear side's gonna be a little bit more trickier for sure. All right, guys. Turns out I made a really bad mistake. These are more newer seats here. Kind of fucking sucks that these are not meant for my vehicle. These seats seem like they belong somewhere else. Honestly, these seem like third row seats, if anything, from what I'm looking up. But one thing I'll tell you right now is these do not belong in a 2015 Chevy Tahoe. So I bought the wrong seats. At least the center console got in fine. But now I'm a little bit sad about the rear seat situation here. I paid $400 for these seats, so I gotta possibly sell them and then get the right seats back. All right, guys. I know I said I wasn't gonna go to Phoenix again, or I guess the next town over. But looks like we're traveling to Phoenix again to get the rear, trying again to get the rear seats. If I didn't learn my lesson the first time, hopefully I learned my lesson. I did it the right way. I'm also gonna see if I can get this trim right here. And I do need the seat belts on the sides. There is no seat belts on the sides, so we're gonna get the seat belts, the rear seats, the trim right here, and maybe the rear bumper. We're gonna see what we can get. I'm gonna try to get as much as possible. Hopefully, the more the better. Alright, guys, one thing I forgot to mention, I did buy myself a windshield repair kit. Since I'm going to Phoenix once again, I don't want this crack right here to get any bigger than that, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I think I might have another one on top right here. So I got 2 cracks. I don't think there's any more, but I'm gonna go ahead and repair both cracks right here. Mostly just doing it just a matter of just protection. I don't want this windshield to get any worse. So I'm gonna do it real quick. Alright, guys. So we spent $61.33 on the gas gain over there, and we got an invoice for $560 pretty much. So we spent a total of about like $620, something like that, $610, just for the rear seats and some trim, and pretty much to complete the interior. We'll go ahead and clean up the rest of the interior, and I'll show you guys a little bit what I bought in a bit. All right, guys. Today's some good news here. Today is finally officially gonna be the day I complete my interior. So here I have these dusty ass seats that we're gonna be installing here today. Then I also got trim piece right here to go on my front right there, where it's all fucked up. Then I believe I also got some seat belts. Some seat belts right there, which are gonna connect to the sides right here. And I'll be officially done for the interior. I don't want to spend too much time in the interior, just because to me the interior is kind of like a whatever burger. It's mostly the exterior that I'm worried about, because people want to look good for their friends, right? All right, officially there's seats in the rear right here now. I haven't tightened down the bolts yet, but I gotta clean these out, dust them out. I'm gonna go and do a small little detail on the back here to kind of help clean out all the sides. I might even clean the side panels. I eventually gotta do an even deeper detail on every single panel, but that'll be the future. But for right now, just enough so I can at least start, using the rear here. All right, guys, we're finally at the end of this video almost. We got one final thing to do before we move on to the next video. We're gonna change the oil on the Tahoe right there. I'm also gonna be removing that front boulevard. You guys will find out the reason why next video. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start completing this oil change. We're gonna go ahead and do the oil and then get rid of this guard. I'm gonna do a little time lapse so you guys can finish this video already. Well, let's go ahead and get the time lapse done. I'm gonna grab my shit now. All right, guys, tools are ready. I think it's time to get started now. All right, guys. So looks like we're done here. I took off the front here. Honestly, now that I see the front off, it kind of makes me want to convert this thing to a civilian Tahoe. But I already made up my mind. Already decided that I wanted to make this into a just keep it as a police truck. Kind of keep the cool factor to it. So kind of leave the front grille and then that side headlight, but make it all blacked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reattach these old bolts back on. I don't want to lose any of these bolts here. Got brand new oil in there. They didn't make any messes. This is all rainwater and all that you might see in the ground. No mess made. Other than that, I just gotta do some simple stuff, and that's pretty much the end of this video right here. Next video, you're gonna see what I'm up to now with this truck. Very, very close to being done. I just got one last thing to really do, and you'll see that next one right here coming up. But I'm gonna go ahead and pack up here, and I'll see you guys in the next video in this Tahoe.